the day everything changed. Imagine waking up to a day that feels like any other kid's laughing over breakfast, the smell of coffee filling the air, the comfort routine wrapping you like a warm blanket. Now, picture that same day spiraling into a nightmare, where a father meant to protect becomes a monster. Today, we're diving into two such days. August 13th, 2018, when Chris Watts erased his family in Frederick, Colorado, and June 15, 2023, when Chad Doerman shattered his in Monroe Township, Ohio. We'll walk through every agonizing hour, feel the weight of the children's final moments, and uncover the chilling control and coldness in both men's actions. Welcome to Dark Truths, True Crime Stories, Episode 3 of our 10-part series, Chris Watts versus Chad Doerman Fathers Who Killed. This is a deep, emotional journey, roughly, so grab a seat, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and join us as we unravel the truth behind these unthinkable acts. What breaks your heart most about these stories? How do we process such betrayal? What makes these days so haunting? Let's begin. August 13th, 2018, a deceptive morning in Colorado. The Watts family home at 2825 Saratoga Trail, Frederick, Colorado, woke to a seemingly ordinary Monday on August 13th, 2018. Shanann Watts, 34, landed at Denver International Airport around 1:48 a.m., returning from a Louvel Thrive business trip in Arizona. Exhausted from late-night flights and her 15-week pregnancy with a boy she'd named Nico, she climbed into bed, her mind likely buzzing with plans for the week. By 6 a.m., the house stirred with life. Bella, with her soft brown curls and shy smile, padded downstairs in her unicorn pajamas, followed by Celeste, 3, a whirlwind of energy with a contagious giggle. Chris Watts, 33, played the role of devoted dad, pouring Cheerios into colorful bowls, tying Celeste's sneakers, and kissing Shanann's forehead as she sipped coffee. Shanann texted friends about an upcoming ultrasound, her excitement for Nico shining through. Can't wait to see him. The suburban street outside hummed with normalcy neighbors' walk dogs, sprinklers whirred, and Chris's red Ford truck sat parked, ready for his oil field job. Toys littered the lawn. A tricycle tipped over, a testament to the girls' endless play. But beneath this idyllic scene, cracks were forming. Shanann had confided in friends via text about Chris's growing distance. He's been so cold lately. Not himself. She senses detachment, perhaps suspecting his affair with Nickel Kessinger, a co-worker he'd met months earlier. The night before, she'd written, "I don't know what's wrong with him," her words heavy with worry. Neighbors noticed nothing unusual, no raised voices, no signs of distress. But the Watts home was a ticking time bomb. How does a morning so full of love hide such darkness? Can you feel the weight of Shanann's unease? What's the moment when routine betrays us? Why do we miss these subtle fractures? Have you ever sensed a day's calm masking something sinister? What makes this morning so deceptively haunting? June 15th, 2023, a summer morning in Ohio. In Monroe Township, Ohio, June 15th, 2023, bloomed with the warmth of early summer. The Doerman family's modest ranch house on Laurel Lindale Road buzzed with the chaotic joy of 3 young boys. Clayton, 7, a thoughtful leader with a love for baseball, was packing his backpack for summer camp, his favorite Reds cap perched on his head. Hunter, 4, and Chase, 3, tore through the backyard, their superhero t-shirt Spider-Man for Hunter, Batman for Chase flashing as they played Save the World. Chad's wife, 29, stood at the stove, flipping pancakes, the kitchen filled with the sweet smell of syrup. She packed Clayton's lunch, slipping in a note, "Have fun, champ." Chad Doerman, 32, an insulator with a steady job, seemed his usual self, maybe tossing a foam football with Hunter before heading out. Neighbors waved as they mowed lawns or sipped coffee on porches. The boys' laughter a familiar soundtrack. The scene was pure Americana bikes scattered, a swing set creaking, the promise of a lazy summer day. But there were hints of strain. Chad's wife had grown quieter, her smiles tight, after weeks of Chad's mood swings. A neighbor later recalled him muttering about needing a break at a barbecue days earlier, his tone sharp, eyes distant. She'd noticed Chad's wife hesitating to talk about him, as if guarding a secret worry. The boys, oblivious, chased each other, their capes flapping, unaware the day would end in horror. The house, with its family photos and crayon drawings taped to fridge, held no outward signs of doom. How does a sunny morning cloak such evil? Can you picture the boys' boundless joy? What's the calm before a storm like this? Why do we trust these happy moments? Have you ever felt a day shift from light to dark? What makes this morning so heartbreakingly ordinary? Chris's early hours, the tension builds. By 4 a.m. on August 13th, 2018, the Watts home turned from a haven to a battleground. Shanann, unable to sleep after a late flight, confronted Chris in their master bedroom. The room, with its neatly made bed and framed photos of Bella and Celeste, felt suffocating. Shanann, her voice trembling with hurt, demanded answers about his growing distance. She'd suspected his affair with Nickel Kessinger for weeks, her texts to friends revealing her pain. He's not excited about Nico. It's like he's checked out. Their marriage, once a partnership of shared dreams, was crumbling under the weight of $70,000 in debt. Shanann's thrived success and Chris's secret life. Chris, cornered, felt trapped not just by the argument, but by a life he no longer wanted. His face, usually warm when reading to the girls, hardened into something unrecognizable. Shanann's pleas grew desperate. "Talk to me, Chris. What's happening to us?" But his silence was deafening, his mind already drifting to Nickel and a fantasy of freedom. Bella and Celeste slept down the hall, their soft snores a stark contrast to the rising tension. The neighborhood outside lay quiet, streetlights casting shadows, no one hearing the storm brewing inside. Shanann's strength, her fierce love for her family, clashed with Chris's detachment, setting the stage for tragedy. How does a marriage fracture so quietly yet so violently? Can you feel Shanann's desperation in that dark room? What's the spark that turns love into rage? Why do these moments slip past unnoticed? Have you ever seen a relationship unravel in silence? What makes this tension so suffocating? Chad's late morning, a disturbing shift. Around 11 a.m. on June 15th, 2023, Chad Doerman's behavior took a dark turn in the Ohio home. Instead of staying at his insulation job, he returned unexpectedly, pacing the living room with a worn Bible, muttering phrases like, "I know what's right." His wife, sensing a shift, kept Clayton, Hunter, and Chase close, their superhero games in the backyard growing quieter. Chad's eyes, once playful when tossing a ball with Hunter, were now distant, almost vacant, as if he were somewhere else entirely. He moved to the gun safe in the garage, unlocking it with deliberate calm, retrieving a .22 Marlin rifle. His wife's voice trembled. "Chad, please, put away." Clayton, coloring at the kitchen table with a Spider-Man crayon, looked up, his brow furrowed at his dad's strange intensity. The house, filled with the boys' toys, Legos, action figures, a half-built fort felt heavy, the air thick with dread. A delivery driver passing by later recalled Chad standing on the porch, staring blankly into the distance, his Bible still in hand. Neighbors busy with summer chores, heard no raised voices, saw no chaos, but one later wished they'd checked in, haunted by the memory of Chad's odd stillness. His wife tried to distract the boys, suggesting a game inside, but Chad's presence loomed. How does a father's mood shift so dangerously? Can you sense the tension creeping into that home? What's the moment when normalcy cracks? Why do we miss these subtle warnings? Have you ever seen someone's demeanor change so eerily? What makes this shift so terrifying? Chris's crime, the unthinkable begins. Around 4:30 a.m., Chris Watts crossed a line no husband or father should. In the master bedroom, as Shanann fought to save their marriage, his rage boiled over. Overwhelmed by his affair with Nickel Kessinger, mounting debt, and the pressure of Nico's impending arrival, he snapped. He strangled Shanann, his hands tightening around her throat as she fought back, her defensive wound scratches and bruises later noted in the autopsy report. The struggle, silent but brutal, lasted minutes, the only sound her gasps in the dark. Bella, woken by the noise, peeked through the door, her small voice trembling. "What's wrong with Mommy?" Chris, his face a mask of cold resolve, didn't answer. He wrapped Shanann's body in a fitted bedsheet, her Thrive products still scattered on the nightstand, and carried her downstairs like a task to complete. The girls, half asleep in their pajamas, watched confused as he placed their mother in the back of his truck. The house, once filled with Bella's drawings and Celeste stuffed animals, was now a crime scene. Chris's heart, if it beat at all, showed no trace of remorse. The neighborhood slept, unaware, as he prepared for the next horrific step. How does a man turn from husband to killer in moments? Can you imagine Shanann's final fight, her love for her girls? What's the horror of Bella witnessing that scene? Why does his coldness cut so deep? Have you ever pictured such a betrayal? What makes this act so soul-crushing? Chad's Midday, the plan takes shape. By 2 p.m. on June 15th, Chad Doerman's intentions crystallized into something sinister. Still clutching his Bible, he moved through the house with eerie purpose, telling his wife he needed to fix things. Her voice cracked as she begged. "Chad, don't do this," her hands trembling as she tried to keep the boys close. Chad, undeterred, checked the .22 rifle, his fingers moving over the barrel with mechanical precision. Clayton, sensing something wrong, whispered to Hunter, "Stay by me," his protective instinct kicking in. The boys, usually loud with laughter, grew quiet, their superhero games abandoned in the backyard. The house, with its cozy cluttered baseball gloves, toy cars, a half-eaten pancake on the counter became a trap. Chad's wife tried to call a neighbor, her phone shaking in her hand, but Chad's cold stare stopped her. He spoke softly to the boys, promising a game outside, his voice chillingly calm. A neighbor mowing nearby heard nothing, saw nothing, later haunted by the thought that they could have intervened. Chad's deliberate actions checking the rifle, luring the boys, showed a plan forming, not a sudden snap. The summer sun beat down, oblivious of the darkness unfolding inside. How does a father craft such a horrifying plan? Can you feel the dread choking that house? What's the weight of his calculated calm? Why do these moments slip past us? Have you seen danger build so quietly? What makes this preparation so terrifying? Bella and Celeste's final moments, a heartbreaking betrayal. Bella and Celeste's final moments are a gut-wrenching testament to their innocent trust. After killing Shanann, Chris told the girls, "We're going for a ride with Daddy." Bella, clutched her pink blanket, her brown eyes wide as she asked, "Where's Mommy?" Chris, voice flat-lied, "She's sleeping." Celeste 3 held Bella's hand, her fearless spirit trusting her dad completely. They climbed into the back seat of his work truck, their car seats snug, unaware of the horror ahead. The 45-minute drive to Survey 319, a remote oil site, was agonizingly quiet, the Colorado plains stretching endlessly under the dawn. Bella, sensing something wrong, asked again, "Is Mommy okay?" Chris ignored her, his focus on the grim task ahead. At the site, he carried Celeste first, smothering her with his hands as she struggled, her tiny body going limp. He dropped her into an oil tank, the 8-inch hatch swallowing her. Bella, watching, screamed, "Daddy, no!" Her voice breaking as he smothered her too, disposing of her in another tank. Autopsies later revealed oil in their lungs, a haunting sign they fought to breathe. Their trust in Chris, captured in Shanann's videos of them giggling in his lap, made their betrayal unbearable. How does a father destroy such innocence? Can you feel Bella's terror, her desperate cry? What's the pain of their unwavering trust? Why do these moments break our hearts? Have you imagined such a betrayal? What makes their loss so devastating? Clayton, Hunter, and Chase's final moments, Courage in Terror. Clayton, Hunter, and Chase Doerman's final moments are equally shattering, marked by a courage that defies their young ages. Around 4 p.m., Chad lured the boys to a grassy field behind their home, promising a game. His wife, sensing the danger, screamed, "Don't do this, Chad," her voice raw as she tried to block his path. Chad, rifle in hand, was unmoved, his face a blank slate of determination. Clayton, 7, the protective big brother, sensed the threat and bolted, shouting, "Hunter, Chase, run." Hunter, for instinctively shielded Chase, his small body stepping in front of his 3-year-old brother. Chase, clutching a stuffed dinosaur, ran too, his tiny legs stumbling in the grass. Chad fired, hitting Clayton in the back as he fled, then Hunter as he tried to protect Chase, and finally Chase, who fell last, his toy dropping beside him. Autopsies confirmed multiple gunshot wounds, a brutal testament to their struggle. Their mother, wounded in her hand as she fought to stop Chad, survived to call 911, her voice breaking with grief. The boys' bravery, Clayton's leadership, Hunter's sacrifice. Chase's desperate run shows a love that's shown even in terror. How do children find such strength in chaos? Can you picture their frantic escape? What's the power of their brotherly bond? Why does their courage haunt us? Have you felt a story's heroism so deeply? What makes their fight so heartbreaking? Chris's Coldness, a calculated act. Chris Watt's actions on August 13th revealed a chilling coldness. After strangling Shanann, he didn't panic or hesitate. He wrapped her body in a sheet, carried it to his truck's bed, and secured Bella and Celeste in their car seats, ignoring their questions. The drive to Survey 319 was methodical, his GPS later showing a planned route. At the site, he dug a shallow grave for Shanann, his shovel slicing through the dirt with precision, smothering Celeste and Bella. He ignored their cries, disposing of their bodies in oil tanks to hide evidence. His efficiency was robotic, each step calculated to erase his family. That morning, he texted co-workers about equipment, his tone casual, as if he hadn't just committed murder. A colleague later said Chris seemed normal, even joking about a work task. His ability to detach, to treat his wife and daughters like obstacles, was inhuman. His affair with Nicole Kessinger, a fantasy of a new life, fueled his resolve, but nothing justified his coldness. How does someone shut off their humanity so completely? Can you fathom his icy calm? What's the psychology behind such detachment? Why does his methodical nature shock us? Have you seen such coldness in a person? What makes his actions so calculated? Chad's Control, a deliberate massacre. Chad Doerman's control on June 15th was equally terrifying, a planned execution. His pacing with the Bible, muttering about knowing what's right, showed premeditation, not impulse. He chose a .22 rifle deliberately, checking it with care, ignoring his wife's desperate pleas. Luring Clayton, Hunter, and Chase of the field with a promise of play was a chilling manipulation, his voice calm as he led them to their deaths. Shooting Clayton as he ran, Hunter as he shielded, and Chase as he fell, Chad's precision was ruthless, each bullet placed with intent. After the massacre, he sat on the porch, rifle beside him, waiting for deputies with a blank stare. A deputy later called his demeanor unnatural, like he completed a mission. His wife's 911 call, filled with screams, contrasted his eerie calm. Her survival, despite her wounds, ensured his capture, but his lack of remorse chilled everyone. His control wasn't a loss of temper, it was a deliberate assertion of power. How does a father plan such a horrific act? Can you feel his chilling resolve? What's the mindset of such precision? Why does his composure terrify us? Have you seen such calculated evil? What makes his control so horrifying? The Watts timeline, a day of horror unfolds. The timeline of August 13th, 2018, is a relentless descent into darkness. At 1:48 a.m., Shanann landed at Denver Airport, texting friends about her trip. By 4:30 a.m., Chris strangled her after a heated argument. Her body left on their bed. By 5:30 a.m., he loaded her into his truck's bed, Bella and Celeste in the back seat, their questions unanswered. He reached Survey 319 by 6:30 a.m., disposing of Shanann in a shallow grave and the girls in oil tanks by 8 a.m. At 9 a.m., he texted co-workers, acting normal. By 10 a.m., Shanann missed a doctor's appointment, alarming her friend Nicole Atkinson. By noon, Nicole called police, who questioned Chris by 1 p.m. He lied, saying Shanann took the kids to friends. His 5 p.m. TV plea, "Please come home," was a hollow act, his eyes dry. The speed from murder to cover up in hours shows his chilling efficiency. Neighbors, unaware, saw his truck leave that morning, assuming routine. How does a day unravel so fast? Can you track the pace of this horror? What's the weight of those ticking hours? Why do timelines grip us so tightly? Have you followed a tragedy's clock? What makes this day so shocking? The Doerman timeline, a swift tragedy. June 15th, 2023, move with devastating speed in Monroe Township. At 8 a.m., the Doerman home was alive with summer joy pancakes, superhero games, Clayton's camp plans. By 11 a.m., Chad returned, pacing with a Bible, his mood dark. By 2 p.m., he accessed a gun safe, alarming his wife, who tried to intervene. At 4 p.m., he led Clayton and Hunter in chase of the field, shooting them as his wife fought back, wounded in her hand. By 4:30 p.m., her 911 call, raw with anguish, brought deputies. By 4:45 p.m., they found Chad on the porch, rifle nearby, calmly saying, "I did it." The timeline from laughter to massacre in hours reveals his deliberate pace. A neighbor mowing nearby missed the signs, later tormented by the quiet. The boys' toys left in the yard stood as silent witnesses. How does a day collapse so quickly? Can you feel the timeline's relentless rush? What's the terror of those fleeting moments? Why do we obsess over these hours? Have you traced the tragedy's pace? What makes this day so crushing? Chris's cover-up, playing the grieving dad. After the murders, Chris Watts wove a chilling web of deception. At work by 8:30 a.m., he texted colleagues about equipment, even calling the girls' school about enrollment, as if they were alive. When Nicole Atkinson, alarmed by Shanann's silence, called police at noon, Chris met officers at home, claiming Shanann took the kids to friends. His voice was steady, but his eyes avoided theirs, neighbors later noted. At 5 p.m., he faced TV cameras, pleading, "Shanann, Bella, Celeste, please come home." His tone flat, hands fidgeting. Neighbors watching the broadcast felt unease, his face lacked grief. By August 14th, police found Shanann's purse and phone at home, contradicting his story. His polygraph on August 15th was a disaster, sweating, stumbling. He confessed by evening, detailing the murders. His attempt to play the grieving dad, knowing their fate, was pure manipulation, a mask that fooled no one for long. How does someone lie so smoothly after such horror? Can you spot the cracks in his performance? What's the psychology of his cover-up? Why do we fall for such facades? Have you seen a lie unravel so fast? What makes his deception so chilling? Chad's surrender. No fight, no remorse. Chad Doerman's post-crime behavior was cold in a different way. He didn't hide. After shooting his sons, he sat on the porch, rifle at his side, staring blankly as his wife's 911 call echoed through the township. When deputies arrived at 4:45 p.m., he didn't resist, calmly stating, "I did it," his voice devoid of emotion, per a 2023 WLWD report. A deputy described his demeanor as empty, like a man who'd finished a chore. Unlike Chris, Chad didn't craft a story or play the victim. He owned the act with chilling detachment, showing no remorse. His wife's survival, despite her wounds, ensured his capture, her call a desperate cry for justice. Neighbors, seeing his calm, were stunned when recalled. He just sat there like nothing happened. The field where the boys fell, littered with their toys, stood in stark contrast to his stillness. How does someone surrender so coldly? Can you imagine his blank, unfeeling stare? What's the mindset of no remorse? Why does a surrender feel so hollow? Have you seen such chilling calm? What makes his lack of fight so haunting? Bella and Celeste trust, Innocence betrayed. Bella and Celeste once trusted their dad with their whole hearts, making their final moments unbearable. Shanann's Facebook videos show them climbing into Chris's lap, giggling over bedtime stories, their love for him absolute. On August 13th, they followed him to the truck, believing his lie that Mommy was sleeping. Bella, clutching her blanket, asked, "Is Mommy coming back?" Her voice small. Chris is curt, she's fine. Silencer. Celeste, always bold, likely squeezed Bella's hand, trusting him too. The drive to Survey 319 was a quiet torture, the girl's innocence clashing with Chris's cold intent. At the sight, Celeste's struggle was brief, her small frame no match for his hands. Bella's scream, "Daddy, no!" echoed in the empty field, a plea ignored. Autopsies confirmed oil in their lungs, a sign they fought to live. Their trust, so pure, made their betrayal a wound that lingers. How does trust become so deadly? Can you feel their innocent faith? What's the pain of their betrayal? Why do their moments haunt us? Have you pictured such innocence lost? What makes their trust so heartbreaking? Clayton, Hunter, and Chase's courage, a brotherly bond. Clayton, Hunter, and Chase Doerman showed incredible courage, their bond shining in their final moments. Around 4 p.m., as Chad led them to the field, Clayton, 7, sensed danger, his instincts sharp from years of protecting his brothers. "Run!" he shouted, sprinting through the grass. Hunter, 4, stepped in front of Chase, his small body a shield for his 3-year-old brother. Chase, clutching his dinosaur, ran too, his tiny legs stumbling. Their mother's screams, trying to stop Chad, echoed their fight, her hand wounded as she reached for them. Autopsies confirmed multiple gunshot wounds, a testament to their struggle. Clayton's leadership, Hunter's sacrifice, and Chase's desperate run show a love that defied terror. The field, once their playground, became a scene of heroism. How do kids find such bravery? Can you imagine their fight to survive? What's the strength of their bond? Why does their courage break us? Have you felt a story's heroism so deeply? What makes their resistance so powerful? Chris's motive, erasing his family. Chris Watt's coldness stemmed from a selfish motive, escape. His affair with Nicole Kessinger, begun in June 2018, offered a fantasy of freedom, no kids, no debt, no responsibilities. Shanann's success would thrive. Their $70,000 debt and Nico's impending arrival trapped him, per 2019 Denver Post. Killing his family was his way to start over, as he later told investigators. His methodical action strangling Shanann, smothering the girls, hiding their bodies showed a chilling plan to erase his old life. Bella's plea, "Daddy, no," didn't sway him. His mind was on Nicole, texting her about a date that day. His detachment, viewing his family as obstacles, was pure ice. How does someone erase their loved ones for a fantasy? Can you fathom his selfish motive? What's the psychology of such escape? Why does his plan shock us? Have you seen such destructive selfishness? What makes his motive so cold? Chad's motive, a twisted need for control. Chad Doerman's motive is murkier, but no less chilling. His muttering about knowing what's right, clutching a Bible, suggests a delusional need for control, possibly fueled by financial strain and personal discontent, per a 2023 Cincinnati Enquirer. No affair was confirmed, but his isolation and temper hinted at a desire to reset his life. Killing his sons and attempting to kill his wife was a brutal assertion of power, planned with precision, choosing the rifle, luring the boys. His calm surrender showed no regret, only completion. His wife's survival forwarded his plan, but his intent was clear: total control. How does control turn so deadly? Can you understand his twisted mindset? What's the root of such violence? Why does his motive feel so dark? Have you seen control destroy like this? What makes his actions so horrifying? The Watts aftermath, a community shattered. By August 14th, Chris Watts' facade began to crack. Nicole Atkinson, alarmed by Shanann's silence, called police, who found Shanann's person phone at home, contradicting Chris's lies. His polygraph on August 15th failed spectacularly, forcing his confession. Frederick reeled. Neighbors who saw Chris as a quiet dad were horrified. Shanann's family, the Zuseks, mourned on Dr. Phil 2019, calling him a monster. Social media erupted, with hashtag Justice for Shanann trending, posts like, "How could he face Bella's tears?" The girls' preschool, with their cubbies still labeled, became a site of grief. The community left flowers at the Watts' home, struggling to process the loss. How does a town heal from such betrayal? Can you feel their shock? What's the weight of truth revealed? Why do we mourn with them? Have you seen a community shattered? What makes this aftermath so raw? The Doerman aftermath, grief in Ohio. Chad Doerman's arrest on June 15th was swift, thanks to his wife's 911 call. Deputies found him on the porch, emotionless, admitting, "I did it." Monroe Township grieved. Neighbors left teddy bears and balloons at the house, unable to fathom the loss of Clayton, Hunter, and Chase. The boys' school held a vigil, their superhero backpacks a painful reminder. Chad's wife, recovering in hospital, faced unimaginable loss, her strength inspiring the community. Social media mourned, with hashtag Justice for the Doerman boys trending, posts like, "Those boys deserve love." Chad's lack of remorse deepened the horror, his calm surrender chilling. How does a community recover from such loss? Can you feel their collective grief? What's the pain of such tragedy? Why do we share their sorrow? Have you seen a town broken like this? What makes this aftermath so devastating? The mother's strength, Shanann and Chad's wife. Shanann Watts and Chad's wife showed remarkable strength, even in tragedy. Shanann, vibrant and driven, built a thriving Thrive business. Her videos showcasing her love for Bella, Celeste, and Nico, her text to friends, filled with hope for her family, revealed her fight to save her marriage until the end. Chad's wife, though unnamed in reports to protect her, fought fiercely to save her sons, sustaining gunshot wounds in her hand as she tried to stop Chad. Her 911 call, raw with pain, was a testament to her survival, ensuring justice. Both women, in different ways, stood as pillars of love against unimaginable evil. How do mothers find such resilience? Can you feel their unyielding love? What's the strength of their fight? Why do their stories inspire us? Have you seen such courage in crisis? What makes their strength so powerful? The children's lives, joy cut short. Bella, Celeste, Clayton, Hunter, and Chase lived lives full of joy, stolen too soon. Bella, shy and thoughtful, loved singing Frozen songs, her drawings covering the Watts fridge. Celeste, nicknamed Cece, was a fearless spark, always chasing Bella. Clayton, a budding athlete, dreamed of playing for the Reds, his leadership evident in protecting his brothers. Hunter, creative and brave, loved making up superhero stories, while Chase, the baby, followed them with wide-eyed adoration, his dinosaur toy never far. Their homes were filled with Love Shanann's videos, the Doerman's backyard games making their loss even more crushing. How do we honor such vibrant lives? Can you picture their laughter? What's the pain of their future stolen? Why do their stories linger? Have you felt a child's joy so vividly? What makes their loss so unbearable? Chris's Facade, the lies unravel. Chris Watt's cover-up was a chilling act, but it crumbled fast. After disposing of his family, he went to work, texting colleagues about oil-field tasks, even joking. When Nico alerted police, he told Officer Shanann left with the kids. His calm rehearsed but shaky. His TV plea at 5 p.m., broadcast on local news, fell off. Neighbors noted his dry eyes, his stiff posture. By August 14th, police found evidence at home. Shanann's purse, the girl's toys untouched. His polygraph failure forced his confession, shocking investigators. Social media buzz with posts like, "He never shed a tear." His lies, so carefully constructed, fell apart in days. How does a facade collapse so swiftly? Can you spot the cracks in his act? What's the psychology of such deception? Why do we miss these lies at first? Have you seen a mask slip? What makes his unraveling so gripping? Chad's confession, a cold admission. Chad Doerman's surrender was starkly different. He didn't hide or lie. After the massacre, he sat on the porch, rifle beside him, as if waiting for the inevitable. When deputies arrived, he said, "I did it," his voice flat, per 2023 WLWT. No tears, no panic, just a chilling admission. His wife's 911 call, filled with anguish, contrasted his detachment, her survival ensuring his capture. Neighbors, seeing his calm, were horrified. One said, "It was like he felt nothing." His lack of remorse, his refusal to run, made the crime feel even colder, a deliberate act laid bare. The community struggled to process his openness, so devoid of humanity. How does someone confess so coldly? Can you imagine his emotionless stare? What's the mindset of such detachment? Why does his admission chill us? Have you seen such a stark confession? What makes his openness so haunting? The parallels, coldness and control. Chris Watts and Chad Doerman share a haunting coldness and control. Both acted with precision, Chris's calculated disposal, Chad's planned execution. Both ignore their children's please Bella's cries. Clayton's run showing no mercy. Chris hid behind a grieving dad act. Chad confessed openly, unrepentant. Their motives escaped for Chris. Control for Chad stemmed from a shared attachment, viewing their families as obstacles. Both left communities shattered, families broken, and social media raging with #justice hashtags. Yet, differences stand out. Chris's affair drove his fantasy. Chad's delusion fueled his power. Their coldness binds them a chilling ability to destroy without flinching. How do their actions mirror each other? Can you see their shared darkness? What's the psychology of such control? Why do their parallels haunt us? Have you compared such cases? What makes their coldness so unforgettable? The investigation begins. Watts' case. The investigation into the Watts case moved swiftly. Nicole Atkinson's call on August 13th, prompted by Shanann's silence, brought police to the house by noon. Officers found Shanann's purse, phone, and car, contradicting Chris's claim she left. Neighbor Nate trying to stick a security footage showed Chris loading his truck that morning, raising suspicions. By August 14th, police searched Server 319, finding Shanann's shallow grave and the girls' bodies in oil tanks. Chris's polygraph failure on August 15th forced his confession, detailing the murders in chilling clarity. The community watched in horror, the Zeus-X grief fueling public outrage. How does an investigation unravel so fast? Can you feel the urgency of those first hours? What's the weight of evidence piling up? Why do we follow these probes so closely? Have you seen a case break open? What makes this investigation so intense? The investigation begins. Doerman case. The Doerman investigation began with equal speed, thanks to Chad's wife's survival. Her 911 call at 4:30 p.m. on June 15th brought deputies to the scene, where they found Chad on the porch, rifle nearby. The boys' bodies lay in the field, their wounds confirming a deliberate act. His wife's statement, given from her hospital bed, detailed Chad's behavior, pacing, muttering, planning. Police recovered the rifle and Bible, piecing together his premeditation. The township mourned, leaving flowers at the site. Social media demanded hashtag justice for the Doerman boys, amplifying the tragedy. How does a case come together so quickly? Can you feel the community's shock? What's the pain of such rapid truth? Why do investigations grip us? Have you followed a case's first steps? What makes this probe so raw? The social media storm, public reaction. Both cases sparked massive online reactions. After Chris's TV plea, X posts exploded, with users like a Justice for Shanann writing, "His eyes were empty. No tears." Hashtag Justice for Shanann trended, with thousands sharing Shanann's videos of Bella and Celeste. The Doerman case saw a similar outrage at Ohio Mom 22 posted. "Those boys were angels. How could he?" with hashtag Justice for the Doerman boys trending. Ex-users shared photos of the boys' vigil, teddy bears piling up. The platforms became spaces of grief, anger, and demand for justice, amplifying the victims' stories. How does social media shape our grief? Can you feel the collective outrage? What's the power of these hashtags? Why do we turn to X in tragedy? Have you seen a case spark such fury? What makes these reactions so intense? The legacy of the victims, honoring their memory. Shanann, Bella, Celeste, Clayton, Hunter, and Chase left legacies of love. Shanann's Thrive videos, full of laughter, keep her spirit alive. Bella and Celeste's preschool drawings, shared by the Rezusex, remind us of their joy. Clayton's baseball glove, Hunter's superhero stories, and Chase's dinosaur toy are cherished by their community. Chad's wife, rebuilding her life, honors her sons through advocacy. Vigils, memorials, and scholarships in their names ensure they're not forgotten. How do we honor such lives? Can you feel their lasting light? What's the impact of their memory? Why do we hold on to these stories? Have you seen victims' legacies endure? What makes their memory so vital? The days that broke us. August 13th, 2018 and June 15th, 2023 began with hope but ended in tragedy. Chris Watts and Chad Doerman, fathers who betrayed their families with chilling control, left scars that linger. Bella, Celeste, Clayton, Hunter, and Chase deserve love, not horror. Their final moments, filled with trust and courage, break our hearts. This is episode 3 of Chris Watts vs. Chad Doerman, Fathers Who Killed. Next, we'll explore the investigations that followed, unraveling how justice began. What shocks you most about these days? Can you feel the children's innocence? How do we honor their memory? Subscribe, like, and share this video with a true crime fan. Comment, what keeps you up at night about these stories? Stay tuned for episode 4. Keep questioning, honor the victims, and seek the truth.